All right, here we are, Gino DeMarco, getting ready for the opener, the first of three to be seen on KDKA Plus, the other two, Teal and Westminster. But this week, it's Grove City. Now, Grove City, the Wolverines ran the table last year, defeated Susquehanna, a top-rated team in the President's Conference, and then, of course, they would lose to Cortland, who would go on to win everything. So this is a way for an older man to get even older to begin your season. This is going to be a tall task, Coach.
Oh, no question. They've got they have everybody back. I think, with the exception of two players on both sides of the ball. They've done an outstanding job of building the program. This is the year that they've been building for, and we got a chance to see them in action against Susquehanna, who Susquehanna actually beat the national champion. They beat Cortland, and Grove City had to go on the road, which I never understood that. They should have played a home game. And I'm on the committee for the selection for the playoffs. So coming out of our league, I felt that they should have definitely been on at a home game. But they go on the road and beat Susquehanna, and then they come within a field goal, and I'm telling you, that field goal missed probably by about 5 feet, or they beat the team that wins the national championship.
And that national championship team?
Cortland.
All right. Now, I want to talk about some of these transfers. Everyone's doing it except Dabo Sweeney at Clemson. Transfer portals, whole thing is just amazing. I love it. It gets a little confusing at times, maybe too much, but it is what it is. So, Romano, your quarterback, tell me about this young man.
We recruited Caleb 3 years ago, and he visited Geneva. And at that time, he loved the school. Everything was a fit. Aurora out in Illinois, another top 15 team in D3, gave him a better offer. He went there, and I happened to run into him about a year ago on a recruiting trip back down in Florida, and decided to come with us. So that was a big pickup because we needed a quarterback. The second young man, Roman Costanza. Roman played at Peters Township, was an all-state offensive lineman. He played at a very good program over in Lancaster and Franklin and Marshall. Played all 11 games as a freshman. So to get him with some experience on our offensive line, he's only the second or third player that we have on our offensive line that has game experience. So that was a big pickup. And then we got a Western Beaver grad, Lonnie Kraft, who came with us mid-year last year. He's done an excellent job on the defensive side, and we were able to pick up, Liam Gibson, and he was an outstanding player at Beaver. Ran the ball very well, played some defense. We think he's got a really bright future. So, just said with those guys, we end up picking up probably 5 starters. Now, we lost 5 starters in the transfer portal as well.
I want to talk about a position center real quick. So A.Q. Shipley, I was watching him on a national show today that I'm a big fan of, and he, of course, Moon Township, Penn State, and he was talking about the zone read offense as opposed to, prototypical drop back, protecting the quarterback, pocket passer type of thing, and how the zone read just didn't work for him. The other systems did work for him, but how important and how intricate the center position is, and obviously the Steelers with Zach Wilson. What about the center position in the scheme that you run? How important is it?
It's so important that since we've been running the triple option, we felt that at the center position we needed to get somebody that had done it before in high school. So we've had 3 centers from McKeesport because that's what they run. It's that important in the offense, and we got a young man that we're going to play at center this year that has been a backup, and he's got an enormous amount of reps over the last 3 years. He's a senior. He's an Ambridge graduate, and he had an excellent camp, so we're excited for him. It's his turn.
How nice is it to get the TV exposure?
Well, you want the TV exposure when it's good exposure.
I know,
right?
I know, but
I
still.
think, honestly, I think overall, when we talked about it, and I said this at the press conference, when you're looking at the President's Athletic Conference, and you look at the teams, there are 5 teams that have won a championship in the last 6 years. 5 teams that have won. It talks about the competitive balance. It just so happens that this year, Grove City has everybody back, and they are the favorite, obviously. But you have, in 4 weeks, we're gonna play the number 10 team, the number 18 team, and the number 24 team. So, it's really good football. And then they have this exposure coming out of Pittsburgh and Cleveland market. It's really, really good for the area.
So, doing a little homework today, actually it was supposed to be off, but I want to do a few things to kind of get ready for a busy day that's going to go into the night, a lot of football coming up. This is pretty much a whole new offense.
Pretty much, really is.
One player, I think, right?
Well, we're gonna have, we had Darren. Darren's back. He played tight end for us last year, so he's a starter. We've got another offensive lineman that started probably 4 games over his career. And like I told you about Roman, we had a young man that's gonna line up on the offensive side that started for 2 years for us on defensive line. So that gives us at least some game experience. We've got a couple wideouts that have been in the mix and started a couple games. As far as our running backs go, either of our halfbacks have never started a game. Our B-back absolutely has, and he's a pretty good one. So, up front, we gotta grow up. We gotta grow up quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
They got everybody back and then some, so.
Defensive side of the football?
Defensively, we had a lot of young kids that we played last year. And one transfer that I didn't mention really fit a need that we had at free safety. And we lost our free safety to the transfer portal. And to be able to pick up a grad transfer from North Allegheny, and to be able to get Caputo was a big, big deal. We recruited him out of high school. He went to Wisconsin. Obviously was a walk-on there. His cousin did a great, great job as a player and then as a coach. And then he ended up at Pitt on special teams. But he fills a huge need for us at the free safety position. Up front, we've got a lot of guys back. We've got virtually everyone back in our front 6. Our linebacker position may be the deepest we've had in years. Corner position, we've got some good young guys. As a safety position, our 2 down safeties, we've got a 3-year starter back. So we've got some experience on defense. It's just being able to man up and buckle up with what we see every week in this league.
So how much has all of this changed? Obviously, it's the ready, set, go point in this season of yours, but it's just the whole mindset and how the game has maybe changed at this level since over 3 decades ago when you started.
Well, I will tell you this: like when I started 3 decades ago, we were in a different league, and that league was phenomenal. It really catered to private schools, especially private schools of faith. But there was nobody left to play. So now we're playing schools that are NCAA, and
Challenge.
Oh, it's a challenge only because what's happened in the conference itself, people have looked at football and they have invested heavily in it. And I think Grove City would be a great example of that. What they've done is tremendous.
So, did I read this correctly? This is like your 97th meeting or something?
Mine? I've played them 97 times?
No.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
Actually, I
never opened up with them though.
No, I didn't know that.
Well, thank you.
I
every once in a while I do.
So we've played them
something
97 times? Yeah, I've been around for a few of them, but not
when Cal Hubbard was playing.
No, I wasn't there in a formal life.
So they got this Golden Tornado Athletic Club thing now for alumni and people. You've got homecoming coming up the 27th and 28th. Sun-drenched day again, beautiful place it is, College Hill. Look, I know you take this, wear it on your sleeve. It drives you insane when you lose. But my goodness, what a great place of faith and for any student to be partaking on their freshman year, maybe away from mom and dad, coming here maybe thousands of miles away from home. Man, this place still feels really good. And I would feel great if my kids were here.
Well, I tried to get them.
Yeah.
I tried to get your son. I remember that. We think there's a big takeaway from the kids that we have in our football program that graduate from Geneva. And that takeaway is we're teaching them how to lead as men. And you don't find that many places, especially in today's society. So we are addressing the tough issues and the things that men face and what's happening now with young guys, even more so than when we were young guys. You know, we still had our temptations and we had our adversity to overcome, but these kids are getting bombarded in so many different ways that I thank God that there's a Christian school that plays football, and the number one reason we're doing it is to teach these young men who they can become as a leader, and we're doing it in a biblical model. So to me, couldn't be more appropriate, couldn't be more timely than where we are right now as a nation, and as we are as a society, to be able to have these young men. You know, it's just simply put, when I get calls every year, and I do get calls, many calls, on hiring a football graduate, I just basically tell them on how they've trained, what they've gone through, the adversity they've overcome. You're gonna need to hire this person. Because if you don't hire this person, they'll go to work for your competitor and they'll beat you every day in work. And that's the way I feel about the kids that come through this football program.
So I mentioned Dabo Sweeney earlier. You know, he's against all this stuff that's happening in college football. Will not do the transfer portal thing. I think that is going to be here forever. But let me ask you, for the first time, we talk about this all the time, name, image, and likeness at that level, where you actually did coach, you know, West Virginia, Georgia Tech. What do you think about that as a coach, as an individual, as a college football fan?
I look at it as a capitalist. Teaching business, I believe in the capitalistic society that we have in America. I know it has its flaws. I believe solely on this one principle, that the NCAA is a conglomerate. It is it's a monopoly, as the Supreme Court ruled. It mired itself in looking at things like how many hamburgers are you buying a football player. I think the players have every right to ask for this. How much it goes, it needs to be controlled in some way, because right now there is no controls. There are no controls. So what we've got to do is find a way to say, all right, here's how we're going to do this. We're going to treat them as employees. We're going to treat them with a contract. Are they going to be able to, you know, if a kid goes to second team, does that mean he loses his NIL money? And it's all based on supply and demand. I mean, let's call it what it is. At KDKA, you know, you're selling airtime. You're selling to all the people that you've known for decades and have delivered for them. College football is no different. It just came under the guise of being a college institution. But every college, every football program in Division I has made an awful lot of money for their institution, and it's finally time that the players get what they deserve.
Only thing I would like to see, and maybe it's in play, I'm not that plugged in, but you know, some sort of financial planner available to teach them what to do with that money. I mean, let's face it, you're that age, can you imagine getting that kind of money dumped in your lap? You know, I had my moments where I was very young, making a lot of money, and you know, you don't really understand it, you know?
Well, I think the programs that do great things have those types of people in place.
Yeah.
But you hear about the stories of everybody blowing their money and everybody not, and being 18, 19, 20. I find it very interesting that people will complain about a quarterback at 19, 20 years old just going and making a lot of money playing college football. But yet somebody that's 18, 19, 20 years old, if they're into entertainment, or if they're playing tennis on a national level, or they're doing something internationally, it's all supply and demand. The NCAA caused this. They really did. And I'm not a big friend of the NCAA. I think all along they have a different agenda than what I adhere to. And if they had just done it the right way, and honestly what they needed a competitor. If the NCAA had a competitor, we wouldn't be in the situation that we have. But since they did everything they wanted to do, that's why this thing has now, the pendulum has swung, Rob, the other way. And I think it has to come back. It has to come back to some sort of normalcy.
All right, last thing before we let you go, we're gonna try to get over here as much as we can during the season, spend a little time with him. This game, obviously, this is a really tough opener for you. Just some things that you'd like to see from this football team, this young football team, when that ball goes up in the air at Grove City this weekend.
Our kids need to learn how to play hard, and then need to play hard for 60 minutes. And that was one mark that we had as a Geneva football program, that if you played us, our kids were gonna be physical for 60 minutes. I think we've lost some of that in the last 2 years. That is priority number one for us, that every play, our guys are going to give everything they can. I can tell you that the tone of what's transpired here in the last 9 months, making some adjustments with the staff, bringing in kids who are hungry to play football. And we just don't sugarcoat, coat it here. This is gonna be difficult. When they get here and they find out it's difficult, it's gonna help them down the road. So we're looking for guys to play hard. And obviously we're going up with the idea to win. You don't ever go into a competition thinking, why try? They're going to win anyway.
Well, listen, you're still on the upside when it comes to overall wins compared to losses. But the thing that I love about you, you look at the alumni, people that have played for you that I've run into, they just have incredible things to say, and they've all turned out to be quality human beings. And that really is the biggest part of football. It's not so much the 60 minutes of the season or your career, it's really what it teaches you after the game to continue to move forward.
Yeah, if we use football as an educational tool and part of the Ministry of Education, that's what you want. If you're looking at football from a standpoint of entertainment, then the NIL thing is, Rob, it's in high school now.
I know.
It's in high school. It's not gonna go away.
No.
Because you've got boosters that like to win. And,
but aren't we,
what is
listen, but there's always something good. And I must tell you, later tonight I'm gonna be with John McCouga, first year head coach in New Brighton. Now 2-0, getting ready to play Northgate, who beat Riverside last week. But it's early, but boy, it sure is nice the way things have started for New Brighton, huh?
well, when you go through a period of losing all your games, for 2 years, 2.5 years, whatever it was, and to be able to win, it's just awesome and great for the kids, for the community. It's not what it was. We don't know if we ever will be back to what it was.
No.
But in this moment, to be able to get a couple wins and some confidence with those kids.
Being that you brought that up, I gotta ask you. We discussed numbers and how it's changed at our alma mater and others, right? What's gonna happen if these numbers continue to go down? I mean, and down to where, you barely can field a football team, and there are some schools in 1A now who are going through that. What's gonna happen?
I think some things are gonna have to happen, and I don't feel like the government's gonna jump in and do it. I think you're gonna have some administrators in the local area that really see, that the academic offerings that are happening now in these schools, and where they're graduating 45 and 50 kids, what they're offering academically isn't what other kids are getting, what other students are getting.
That's not right.
So it isn't right. So what should happen is we should see, we really should. We should see probably 4 teams in this county. And I know people right now are going to be like, you're betraying the whole Friday night thing, the tradition. Right. But when it gets to the point where you've got 9th graders playing and they're 130 pounds and they're going up against kids, you're putting kids at risk. And let's face it, there are so many more options now for high school kids to play other sports, do other things, work. It's not the way it was. And from a population standpoint, it would be great to see 4 schools and be able to offer a solid education for everyone. So I don't know how that works, and
It's a thought though.
Huh?
It's a thought.
Well, it's a thought I think everybody's thinking, but until the people in power who have their sons or daughters playing on these teams realize that what's best for the school district you know.
Long term.
I mean, what we said in the last 15 years is everybody wants to see their kid play on Friday night. Well, now it's getting to the point where there aren't that many numbers on Friday night for some of these smaller teams. I mean, you just look up and down the valley and just say, you know, with the exception of you know, Aliquippa and Central Valley, and you look at the numbers that are happening, Beaver has some numbers. You know, Blackhawk is not anywhere near what they were.
Same for Beaver Falls.
Oh, Beaver Falls, yeah. We can just go right
To
down.
graduate 600 kids.
So, I think it would do a really, I mean, look at what the model that Central Valley had.
Work.
And it worked, and there's no reason why it can't work. It just, it's got to get to the point where, people need to start using common sense. That's all we need, common sense.
Listen, I really appreciate you giving me time and good luck, okay?
Yep, thanks buddy.
All
Thanks
right.
for coming.
More to come later today. Stay with me.